Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of I Live for This podcast with me, Trinity the Tuck.
And Chantel Sparkles.
And I am at Chantel's house in Louisville, Kentucky, hanging out with my bestie. And so that means we get to do another episode together.
Right. And another episode of Battle of the Besties.
I know. This time I am prepared. I brought questions. Also, another thing, if you have questions, suggestions of things that you would like to learn about me and Chantel, definitely leave them in the comments and we will make sure that we ask those to each other.
Yeah, and help us, because sometimes we're like sitting here for like 30 minutes trying to come up with a question we want to ask.
Yeah, we know so much about each other. We're like trying to think of things that we don't.
Yeah.
So we hope that you enjoyed these, but I'm going to go first with my first question. My first question to you is, what was my first concert?
Bitch, you act like
And I'll give you an age range so that way you can better understand like the time frame.
Okay.
And at the time, the music, I don't want to say what it was, but like at the time, the concert that we went to was me and my cousins. We went with my aunt. They were really popular at the time, so it wasn't like an old.
Was this 2000s?
This was early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, maybe early 2000. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, late 90s, like 98, 99.
Was it?
And you get 3 guesses.
Was it Backstreet Boys?
Oh my God! What the freaking hell? We never talked about this. How did you know?
For some reason, it just kept, like, I had something inside me that was like, Backstreet Boys.
I wanted
they were
that
big.
away. Yeah.
They were huge.
Tell me why. So
and I know your gay ass was like, I want to go see them.
No, actually, I'm not a concert person.
Me either.
I barely ever go to concerts or anything like that. I only went because my aunt already got the tickets, and I was poor growing up, so I couldn't afford it anyway. So I was really close to my cousin Amber, and so we went to the Backstreet Boys because she really wanted to go.
Was that when you noticed you were gay?
Oh, girl, I knew way before then.
I know.
Way before then. But I hated it. It was just too, I don't like big crowds like that. It overwhelms me. Even back then, it was just too much.
Yeah.
And I would have rather have seen like a pop diva than a Backstreet Boys. Yeah. What was your first concert?
My first concert? Oh, shit. So I thought you were gonna be like, what's your next question? So my first concert. So growing up, I lived in Fort Myers, and there was this tiny festival that they would have that was based off of like rock music.
Ooh.
And back in the 90s, 2000s, rock music was pretty prominent. Like they had their own station. I mean, I think they still do, but it's not like how it was. But they used to have this festival called the 99X Festival, and they would throw it almost like it was a festival in the park downtown. It was huge. Yeah. And they had all kinds of people like Nickelback, Korn. I don't even know if they were around at that time, but I'm just naming things like that. Yeah. And my dad and my mom like heavily listened to rock music growing up. So that's kind of like why I have that in my repertoire of music that I like. And I got to see it, and it was interesting because
do you remember
they had mosh pits, and I was like, girl, what is this? Like,
but you don't remember the band or the
I don't remember
artist.
The bands because like at that age it wasn't comprehending to me that
what it was.
I was going to see what this was. I just knew that it was the 99X Festival that everybody talked about.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was fun. And I still like rock music. I have my own rock playlist. Girl, I go through days where I'm like, today is an all rock music. I'm listening to Metallica.
Word. Okay.
While I'm doing hair, I do
something I didn't even know about you.
Yeah, girl. Everything.
Very cool. What's your first question?
My first question is If I could, now this is probably very dark-sided.
Oh, dark side.
Dark-sided.
Dark side. Coming to the light, Caroline.
So if y'all think that I'm like heartless or shady, I promise it is true. No, I'm not. No, I'm just kidding. But um, the way I tried to word this is like the best I could. So if I could go back to one tragic event that happened.
Oh God. Okay, go ahead.
As I was saying that, I was like, oh.
One tragic event. Okay,
If I could go, I'm so dark.
you are dark sided, bitch.
God. If I could go back to one tragic event in history to see what actually happened, what would that be?
How many guesses do I have?
You can get 3.
Okay. The plague, like the Black Plague in the middle,
No, but that's interesting.
in the Middle Ages.
That would be very, very interesting, but it's not it.
Okay. Titanic.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yes.
you know what? I should have known this because you're obsessed with Titanic.
Yeah. I
Yep.
made you go to that damn museum
Yep.
when we
Yep.
went on
That's
vacation.
right. That's right.
I just think it's so interesting because, like,
And she's not. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm paraphrasing for you. I don't think you're like, oh, let's go.
I wanna
it's
go
so
live
happy. You're just interested to like what really happened.
yeah, like I want to know because, like, when we went to the museum, they had talked about like all the way down to the details of how they designed the Titanic, the days that they spent, the blueprints, the people's like so many different people's stories, like that were so excited for I don't want to say freedom, but like
A new opportunity. Yeah, a new
like
opportunity
a
or
new way of life.
Yeah.
You know, and all these different people came together to be on this boat, and there's just so much unanswered things.
yeah.
And
I totally get what you're saying.
yeah,
I think if I was to be able to go back in time to some sort of event, it would be how the actual dinosaurs died.
ooh.
I would really like to know.
But to like you it's almost like you'd have to be like a ghost.
Yeah.
You're not affected, but you could see what happened.
Yeah, you could like see and then go back to your own timeline.
You're like, honey, I don't want to be killed by no damn meteors, bitch.
Yeah, but I would be interested to know, like, you know, a lot of scientists are saying the way that we have been taught how dinosaurs aren't really what they look like. They actually a lot of them had feathers and
Yeah.
like I even saw somewhere that like Tyrannosaurus Rex arms aren't really arms. The bones were actually on their back like wings.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to see like what they really looked like. What was the catastrophe really like? Was it a meteor or what was it?
Yeah.
So that would be mine.
Absolutely.
Your second question is, what is my favorite Thanksgiving / holiday dish? It's something it's very nostalgic for me. I have to make it every single Thanksgiving and or Christmas.
Stuffing.
I'll give it to you, but it's not stuffing. Stuffing is a northern thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's cornbread dressing, which is like the sister.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's the sister version.
It's like stuffing, but it's
not
all inside
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Dressing, Southern style cornbread dressing is way better than stuffing. Okay.
I think I remember because when we had Thanksgiving together, you had made this big ordeal about how you wanted to make it.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, so I remember that.
It's so good. Good job. 2 for 2.
Girl, I know you.
Oh my God.
You like to talk about yourself.
Oh, wow. What is your favorite holiday dish?
Mine would probably be, so it was a dish that my aunt used to make that she passed away like 5-6 years ago. And she used to make this green bean casserole. And it was so good because she'd put these I think
crispy onions.
They're lentils. You know, they're like the things that like when you bite into them, they have water in them. They're like crunchy.
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard of that.
They're like white. They almost like they're like, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. But when you bite into them, it like bursts with water. They almost taste like potatoes or something.
Oh, are they crunchy?
Yes.
Are they what is that? Water chestnuts?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So my aunt put those in it.
Interesting.
And it was cool because like, you know, you think casserole is just like kind of soggy.
Yeah.
But the the crunchiness kind of broke it up and made it taste better.
Interesting.
And she put mushrooms in it and like all that stuff. It was really good. So that's my favorite.
And you don't have the recipe for it.
I don't. I need to ask my mom, but
yeah,
girl, we don't talk right now.
Girl, hello. Wow. What's your second question?
My second
Seki.
My second question would be, am I a picky / controlling person
Yes.
or a go with the flow type of person?
I don't know what your answer is. I can only go by my experience. I would say you're actually a little bit of both. It depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about just like in life, I would say you're more go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to drag and planning things, you're way more needing to be in control.
Yeah, I am. Anytime like when me and Ethan are driving, like Ethan hasn't drove in like since the day we met.
Wow.
I don't let him drive. I don't like when people drive. Girl, when we play Fortnite, he don't drive.
Wow.
On the cars. Because I'm like, I can't stand to watch somebody else drive because I'm like, why are you going there? I should go this place. So in general, I feel like when it comes to the detail-oriented things or like the way I want things, even the house, I want it a specific way. You know what I mean?
Girl, and that's why she threw out all her furniture and getting all new furniture.
Yes, girl. Which is that's an I call shade moment.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah, that's your I call shade. That's
well, there's two.
There, you get. Yeah, please say both of them later. Okay.
Yes. What's your question? What's your third one?
What was that question?
Mine was, am I controlling?
Oh, yeah. So what would be what do you think of mine would be? Am I more laid back or am I controlling?
You're controlling. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like you like to
I'm very meticulous.
Like you're very meticulous. You like your food a specific way. You like your men a specific way. You also like tend to mow people over with your personality, which is not a bad thing. That's why you Trinity the Tuck. But you are very controlling.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
But listen, that's how she's made me, I feel like.
And girl, and because I'm controlling, I'm probably gonna edit out all of this.
That part, bitch.
Okay, so your third Battle of the Bestie question is, what was the best life advice I have ever gotten?
Stop expecting so much from others.
That's good advice. And I know I've given you that advice, but that is not the first one that comes to mind. My first one that comes to mind is, because there's so many ones that I use. The first one that comes to mind is, and it didn't really come relevant until Drag Race.
After Drag.
Wait,
I know what you're going to say.
Tell me.
I know what you're going to say. Stop giving everyone your battery power.
That's another good one that I use.
Because you only have so much battery power and you can't take everyone with you.
That one.
Yeah.
That one. You can't take everyone
I remember these three things. Trust me.
Yeah.
I listen because I know these things are important and that's what's gotten you to where you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My drag father, our drag father, even though I'm your drag mother, we have the same drag father. It's not...
She's closer to him.
Yeah. Which it's Bob Taylor. He is really like my real father. He has mentored me. He helped me whenever I moved to Florida before Drag Race. I was really broke. He helped me get into my apartment and all that kind of stuff. He's really helped mentor me through my career.
Yep.
And when I got on Drag Race, because he had known a lot of people, he was really best friends with Latrice. He dated Alexis Mateo. He also dated Asia O'Hara. Well, he's dated several people. And he knows a lot of people in the industry. He's been in the industry a long time.
That's so funny and crazy.
Yeah. He went to the red carpet premiere.
I saw pictures
for Alexis.
He posted them not too long ago.
Yeah.
I was gagged.
And so he told me from his experience with his friends, he said, just so you know, when you get on the show and afterwards, you are going to be so busy and have so many things happening and be pulled so many different directions. You're not going to be able to take everybody with you.
Yeah.
Which simply means that in this moment, while things are happening, live in the moment, take it all in, and do things that you need to do for yourself, for the betterment of yourself, and, prioritize the people
The
that are most
relationships.
important
Yeah.
that you have cultivated. And that's why, and I've even, this is like years and years later since my original season, I still have a very tight knit group of friends. I can count on one hand the people that are on my inner circle.
Yeah, I would say your circle is like layers. You have,
Yeah,
you know, the people that you can literally tell anything to.
anything to.
And then there's those people that are like you could
On that outer core that I could still talk to, but aren't here. And then there's everybody else.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's something that I feel like I need to really, really practice because I tend to trust so many people.
Yeah.
Over trust.
Yeah, I do. I will tell you, I do think you are getting better at that.
Yeah, I am.
Because
I've been burnt enough.
You've always been the nice one.
Yep.
And you're always been the yes one.
Yeah.
And that's also something I had to learn is to say no.
Right. She used to always tell me, you're always a yes person. You'll just do whatever and you don't have a backbone and yada yada yada. So when she started telling me these things, it really started to click. And I was like, there's a fine line between being just flat out mean to someone and just not doing nice things for people, but also having self-worth and
having boundaries. That's the biggest thing, is having boundaries. And this goes for everybody. You have to have in life, you have to have boundaries. People in general will take advantage of you. One of the other sayings that you had mentioned that I live by is that you basically, every day that you wake up, you are a battery. And every encounter that you make, every thing that you do, it eats away at that battery. And if you aren't careful, you're going to be depleted before the end of the day, before you're able to recharge.
Because some people will take
and
not recharge your energy, and that's not good.
Yeah, and so you have to know when to say no.
Yeah.
And saying no is a complete sentence, and it doesn't.
That's something too. When you said that to me just joking. And I was like, saying no is a full sentence. And I laughed and I was like, bitch, that's fierce.
Yeah.
It's true.
You don't have to explain yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, something that I have recently, in the last couple of years, have learned is, especially like from my days on when I was on Twitter. I'm no longer on Twitter because I got my account got banned because I was coming after Caitlyn for being so transphobic. And they banned me, honey. But that was a really tumultuous time in my life because it was during COVID. I was being attacked by people, and by being attacked, I immediately was on defensive. And so I would attack back, and it just would be this very tumultuous energy draining thing. And I've had to learn to
not give your energy,
not give my energy to everybody, say no, and also not let things like that affect me as much. Yeah, you have to know when to say no.
It's crazy too that you were going through all that, because I know you had mentioned it, but like you did a really good job like not showing it.
I suffer from anxiety hardcore, like really bad. One thing I'm really great at doing, and I think that I learned this from going through the things that I went through with my grandmother at such a young age, is being able to compartmentalize my feelings into certain things, so that way I can still be functioning.
Yeah.
And still do the things that I need to do. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It sounds like this is just me.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're bottling things up.
And maybe so. I mean, I've never talked to a therapist about it, but I will say that it has worked for me.
Yeah.
And it does allow me that, whatever that is, has allowed me to stay functioning.
Yeah, and you're very good at functioning. Me, like my whole family growing up has always been very, we'll argue severely, say hard, mean things to each other. Like, you know me, when I get mad, I say really, really mean things.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, I expect people to just be like fine with it. And I think that's just what roots with my family. And it goes into what you're talking about, how like bottling things up. I tend to brush my feelings under the rug and not talk about things.
Yeah.
And it makes you a stone cold bitch.
Yeah, but I feel like that is almost a defense mechanism.
It is.
Because you're having to deal with these things that
And be
other
strong.
people are putting, and this is the thing. Like I'm using right now, I'm using the Vixen as an example from Drag Race because a lot of the followers know who that is.
Mhm.
The Vixen said it in her season. Everybody is critiquing me on how I'm reacting, but what about how they are acting?
Oh, yes, I remember this.
Which
During
makes
the
you
finale,
react.
the reunion.
Yeah, and so that was so profound to me.
It's such a good way to think about it.
When you're going through something or when somebody's going through something, maybe take a moment to think
About
what
that side.
what caused them to react this way.
Yeah.
And I'm not always good about that. Sometimes in arguments and stuff like that, I'm very tunnel vision.
I will say you have gotten better at it.
Yeah.
Because we've never really had a blown out argument.
Yeah.
Except for that one time over a fucking towel.
Girl.
But we have gotten into some disagreements.
Yeah.
Where it could go into an argument.
Yeah.
And I think all of you could have done that. But
yeah.
You know how to like feel both sides.
Well, I think all of that again, you mature as you get age.
Yeah.
You get older. You learn as you go. I also I'm a different person than I was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Like the way that I've handled things, the Drag Race and the fandom, the fame of it all projects you into something totally outside your comfort zone, what you're used to. It makes you adapt, and I'm still learning how to deal with it. So
what do you mean adapt?
Adapt to a different lifestyle, the way people treat you.
The one thing though is that, and I don't know if it's like you just know how to stay humble. You know what I mean? That's the one thing. Like I have been around a lot of Drag Race girls. I even worked with them when I worked at Play and stuff like that. And I knew these girls before they got on Drag Race. I'm not saying names, but there is times where like these people get on the show and they completely change and they don't stay humble. And I think that's what makes you different. And because like there's people that are close to you that keep you grounded.
I think that one, because I have you, I have Billy, I have Erica, I have Bob, I have Ginger, I have a few more core people that are in my life, Jordan.
Yeah.
That are 100% brutally honest with me, and I would never expect anything less.
I think that also like there are times where you come off sometimes grand and bougie. And I'll tell you, I'm like, bitch, you be in bougie.
And we have to, but we have to though.
Yeah.
But that is what friends are for. That's what family are for. They're not to build you up for no reason. They're to build you up, but also hold you accountable.
And that's what makes you a strong person. You want to know why?
Why?
Because you aren't taking it personal. You know what I mean?
Well, why would I? When we've been best friends for 15 years.
But
almost.
The thing is sometimes people don't realize that like with that history that it's not coming from a dark place.
Yeah, it's coming from, hey sister, like I love you. I'm seeing this. This is a challenge you need to address with yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And we do that with both.
We do that with each other for sure. So. Well, that was a long response. That was a long response for that one.
I like it though. I don't ever really get to have these not dark. Not the dark conversations, but we don't get to have these deep conversations because a lot of times you're on the road or you'll call me and you'll be like, "What are you doing, bitch?" And I'm like, "Just doing hair." And you're like, "Well, I need this," or "Hey, how are you doing?" It's quick conversations.
Yeah.
Not that, and we both know that even though we're having these quick conversations, again, it's not coming from like a shady place.
Yeah.
We're busy.
Right.
And we'll link up when it's serious. And this is our serious talk.
Yeah, I love it too. Mm-hmm. And even though we've known each other for so long, these conversations not only allow fans to get to know us, but also I'm getting to know different things about you and you about me that we didn't know. Because you could go your entire life knowing somebody, but not knowing.
Girl, I could be a serial killer.
You probably are. Girl, after she goes to the bathroom, you think she murdered somebody, so trust.
Girl, after that coffee earlier.
Oh no, you didn't have to tell me. I smelt it rooms away, sweetie. Rooms away, girl. She followed you like a cult,
like
honey.
a plague.
Girl, it was the plague, bitch.
That was the plague that I had to live through.
Girl, that was the iceberg, sweetie.
Oh my gosh. So you asked me a question, right?
Yeah, so you have the last question.
All right, so my last question is, this is basic, but who is my favorite Disney villain?
Oh, this is a good question to like end on.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite Disney villain? Oh, there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna guess one because there's not enough to keep going. I wanna say, don't say it yet. I'm just talking out loud here.
Okay.
I wanna say Ursula because you are obsessed with the Little Mermaid.
You got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You were like,
it was between her and Maleficent.
Yeah. I really like Maleficent now. Because of how Angelina portrayed her, and they told her story.
Yeah.
Before, I just thought she was a bitch.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cunty.
Yeah.
This girl, the iconic scene was when she went down the stairs with that big cape bitch.
Yeah.
But Ursula down.
Yeah.
There's so much untold story.
Yeah.
With her, I need to know more.
I'm trying to think of the villains from. I think Ursula. I mean, she has to be. She's a drag queen.
Yeah, she's such a drag queen.
She's such a drag queen. Yeah, but there are some other good ones too.
Yeah,
yeah. Jafar. Maleficent, obviously.
And not even necessarily Disney villains. There's like a lot of villains that are actually really, really cunty. There's this one. I don't even remember the name, but it was like she was this chunky, like witch-looking character. And I swear it had to do with cats.
Cats.
It was a cartoon. But anyway,
chunky.
She kind of scared me as a kid.
Cats.
She was a villain. And she had like crazy like hair and she was purple, I think.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna find this character out, I'm gonna send it to you, and you're gonna be like, oh my god.
I also love what's her name? Pull the lever, crank.
Oh yes, of course.
What's her name?
Yzma.
Yzma. I also really like, I don't know if you ever saw Thumbelina.
Oh yes.
Charo played the mother frog lady.
Charo.
Yeah, the Gucci Gucci Gucci.
Oh yeah.
She kind of like looked like her but as a frog.
Yes.
The frog mother was the villain too. She tried to steal Thumbelina.
I don't really remember Thumbelina that heavily, but I do remember watching it as a kid.
It was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
I also liked Rescuers Down Under.
Oh, girl, you were going back,
Rescuers
back, sweetie.
Girl, I loved the prince. She's technically a Disney princess.
Oh,
the lizard that would eat the eggs.
Her.
She was a princess.
That's fierce.
Yeah, I don't remember who said that, but yeah, she was labeled as a Disney princess.
Well, I live for this. Well, we have like taken up so much time, but I want to continue. We're going to start a new section called Bestie Breakdown. And before we continue, let me do this. And this is just questions where we ask direct about each other. Because this is something new, I just have 3 questions that we're just gonna ask, and then we're both gonna answer.
Well, bitch, if it goes as long as the first,
we're not. We can't. Yeah, we can't. So the first question is, what did you want to be growing up?
I always wanted to be. You know, growing up as a kid, you always felt like everybody in school was like, I want to be a dentist. I want to be this. I want to be that. So for the through kindergarten all the way up to like middle school, I had those thoughts of that. But once I got into like late middle school, I started getting into music, and I started going to skating rinks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And
everybody get on the floor. The dinosaur. You remember that?
No, bitch.
Boom, boom. Check it like a boom, boom.
My
boom,
songs are like play at your own risk, girl, or Planet Rock.
I don't know. If anybody remembers the dinosaur song in the skating rings, it was the T.
But that's literally what I started getting into from the middle school
You
days.
wanted to be a roller skater?
Well, I did get into a professional roller skating team, but that's not what I got into. I started dabbling into music
Oh,
and
DJ.
DJing and stuff. And right when I started getting close to drop out of high school, I was traveling heavily as a DJ and making music. I had an album and stuff that I was pushing and all that. And I started to really want to push myself as a DJ.
Yeah, so you kind of lived the life a little bit.
Yeah, for the longest time, I DJ'd in a skating rink when I got the started going to the skating rink, and so from that time, I was like, I want to be a part of something in music.
Interesting.
But it's as cliche as it sounds. Growing up, they always say, "Oh, you're going to be a dentist or you're going to be a firefighter." Da, 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 da. But that's not what I wanted.
That's interesting. I didn't get anywhere near what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a zoologist.
Really?
Yeah, I love animals. I've always loved animals, and as a kid, I was fascinated by National Geographic and Discovery Channel and all of those planet shows of like underwater and the
I love
Sahara
the
and
underwater books.
Australia and all the animal shows, all of them. I would watch them all nonstop.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be a zoologist. I never got
I was
that
always
far.
obsessed too with the books, because when you're in kindergarten to like middle school, you always go to the book fairs,
Mm-hmm.
and I would always go to the book fairs. Obviously, get the scary stories books, but I would always get the Egyptian books and the underwater books. And growing up to this day, I still love underwater stuff.
Yeah, because now you love to dive.
Yeah, so
The next question for both of us is if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
oh, I don't know. I would probably want to be in. I don't. Hmm, I don't know. That's a good one because a part of me almost said invisible, so I could hear what people say about me, but that would stress me the fuck out.
Mm.
I probably would want to fly.
Okay, I would want to have an invisible cloak, like how they have in Harry Potter.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to necessarily be invisible because I would want to be able to put stuff in my cloak to conceal it.
yeah.
And it be invisible as well.
What would you want to conceal? Give us an example.
I don't know, like say I go in, I would want to go into these laboratories that are doing cancer research and see if they really have come up with a cancer cure and they're just not releasing it.
Yeah. Oh, they do.
And I could conceal the what do you call it? The vaccine.
Yeah, yeah.
And take it out with me or something like that. It wouldn't be anything malicious, but it would be like or like have a big cloak where I could put you in it with me and we both are
invisible. See what the
invisible.
fuck people are doing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what I said, invisibility.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, the invisibility would just stress me out, but flying, girl,
that would be fierce. It would be fierce.
Which is weird because I hate heights.
Yeah, but it would be fierce if you flew. You would have more control.
I think the reason why I want to fly is because, like, when I'm diving and you're like floating above the sand and stuff so high, it's almost like flying.
Yeah.
So,
the last question is: what is your most embarrassing moment?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'll tell mine.
Okay.
So the first day of freshman year. I don't know if these were popular in your school, but in my school, there was two pairs of shoes that were really popular at the time. Which were the dark brown Timberland boots. Everybody had them. And then the light tan clogs. What are they called?
I know what you're talking about.
What are they called?
They're ugly.
Yeah, but I have a pair now. But Birkenstocks.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking about.
And everybody had them. Everybody had them. And I had to beg my grandmother, which we were really poor and they were really expensive.
Yeah.
To get a pair. And I finally got a pair at Christmas. And perfect timing because like that next year I wore them for the first day of school, which was 9th grade.
Yeah.
And your first day of school, I didn't have a backpack. We were getting all of our books. We weren't assigned our lockers yet. And my school was a 2-story school. And so I was coming from the top floor to the bottom floor for one of my classes. And girl, they had just waxed the floor and it was really slick. Girl, I had all these books. My feet went out from underneath me. I fucking slid down 2 flights of stairs.
Holy shit! I'm surprised you didn't break your leg or something.
My I did it on my butt.
Yeah.
My
Ooh.
Birkenstocks.
Or break your tailbone.
Girl, trust. My Birkenstocks had flown. My books have went everywhere. And
it was
then
the drama.
at the bottom of the staircase, it goes immediately into these swinging double doors into the hallway where everybody's changing classes. Girl, I like fall out into this hallway where everybody is. First day of freshman year, girl. Everybody's staring at me.
Damn.
I was like, oh no. And
What
I was
did you
very
do?
quiet.
gonna...
I mean, girl, what do? You just get up and like nobody helped me. I was like the little gay boy in school. I got up and I got my books together and I got my Birkenstocks and went on my way.
I got a good one.
Okay.
I have a couple, but you just made me think of one.
Okay, tell me. I have other ones too, but
girl, I was in chemistry class.
Oh gosh.
With my ex-girlfriend / bestie, Brittany.
Okay.
You remember Brittany?
No.
Brittany, I've known her for years, but we don't talk anymore. But we were in chemistry class, and this is when I had acne.
Oh.
And I would always sit in class, and I would just sit here and like
pick at it and
stuff like that, because I had bad acne.
Oh.
Like deep pores.
Yeah.
And one time I had a zit that was like so deep that it was like a volcano on my face.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember this like yesterday. I sat there and I was like, and I popped it. And I was like, I was just pus. So I started squeezing it and trying to get it out. Girl, it was blood.
Oh
it's
no.
Gushing blood.
Oh my gosh. All over your face. What were people's face looking at you?
Girl, I didn't realize. I thought I got it. And I was like, I looked over at Brittany and I was like, hey girl. And we were talking shit. She goes, oh my God, Sean, what is all over your face? You have blood dripping down your cheek.
Oh my God.
And everybody in the class started looking at me, and I was so embarrassed because, like, I went to go wipe it, and it was
like just blood.
Bitch.
Oh my gosh! And your teacher didn't say anything?
Nothing, because like it was kind of low key. Like people were just staring.
Did you go to the bathroom or something?
I did, and I got it out. But girl, talk about chemistry class, blood falling off your face,
swollen hole in your face.
This was the chemistry experiment,
girl. Damn.
It was disgusting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I hope that y'all had learned a couple of things from these questions. So something interesting. So I flew in today to Louisville, and in the airport, because I connected in Atlanta, girl, while I was coming to my connection, I saw Monet.
Oh, gag! I remember.
And her assistant going to her connection for her flight. And it just so happened that we passed each other out here, Trinity, and I look around and it's Monet. And I had sent, so when we went to Dollywood, I saw this teddy bear that was in the theme of Dolly's coat of many colors.
Yeah.
Which was for the Dolly runway, which was Monet's theme. She did the coat of many colors. For All Stars 7.
That. Yeah.
And so I bought it for her and I shipped it to her.
Oh,
and she's like, oh, it's so good to see you. Thank you. I just got my teddy bear. So that was really sweet. I should have taken a picture with her, but we were both in such a rush.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I love that. I love running into Rue Girls in the thing. And I've actually run into Monet a couple of times.
Yeah.
That bitch is always on the go.
I live.
Girl, not only is she doing drag like bookings, she is doing acting stuff. She was on her way to go
rapping.
Girl, she was on her way to go do stand-up somewhere. I'm like, girl, she works.
Multifaceted, talented.
Very, very talented. I love my twinner. So let's get into some of these. We're probably not gonna do all of these because we've been talking forever.
How long have we been talking?
Forever.
Girl.
We're gonna move past some of these topics, and I want to move on to we both recently saw the new Salem's Lot remake, which was Stephen King's story that they had done a movie about like in the late 70s.
Which
And
this is, they're saying it's not a remake. It's like an adaptation or some shit like that.
to me, I watched the original, and the original is really long.
Yeah.
The new one is the exact same story. They do
Change
slightly, but
Mm.
it is very close. But it's condensed down
Okay.
some, and I loved it.
Yeah, I was, you know me, bitch. I'm very skeptical. And at first I thought it was a TV show.
Mhm.
So when I went to go watch it, I was already kind of getting my self ready. I was like, it's kind of slow in the beginning.
It's very because they're building up the storyline.
So I was like, okay, well, it's a TV show, so they're gonna draw it out to like maybe halfway through the season, then you're gonna see vampires and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then Ethan's like, it's a movie. I'm like, well, damn, it's taking forever to get started.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate the movie because this movie made me fucking scared of vampires again.
Yeah.
Because I will say a lot of movies kind of like make a mockery of vampires, or they kind of make them less scary. The prosthetics look cheap. One of the scariest movies, speaking of, that I think was pretty scary was 30 Days of Night.
Oh my gosh. That was really, really scary. But that was also
It's
another
a different style.
A different take on vampires.
Yeah,
for sure.
this one, like you had mentioned, he almost looked, this vampire in Salem's Lot looks,
the master vampire
gave me Nosferatu vibes, like you said.
Yes.
And the prosthetics alone was fucking fierce.
Yeah.
It looked believable. Do you think that they used real makeup effects?
Of course they did. Yeah, of course it was a lot of it was prosthetic. One thing I really love about the style of this Salem's Lot versus the original is it's very in the same vein. Like the way that they shot it was very still like almost 1970s-ish.
Very.
But better quality camera, obviously.
Yeah.
The vampires in the original had really small glowing eyes. In this one, they had the same thing.
Yeah.
They stuck really close to the core characters and made them pretty much the same. It just was better quality. I really enjoyed it. If you like horror movies, you were looking for something for Halloween, I highly suggest on Max, go watch it. It's called Salem's Lot.
Yeah, and the vampires are like your typical vampires. Like when you get bit, you turn into a vampire.
It's all the natural tropes or the common tropes of vampires that you can think of.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I like this movie is because vampires like that could go cheesy really fast.
Yeah.
But they do it really good.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta see it.
Yeah, it's really good. So one thing I saw an article about today was Candy Muse, who's a former RuPaul's Drag Race contestant, is on the current season of...
Which we had her as a guest.
We did have her on a guest, yeah. Which she's a current season of House of Villains, which I think she's perfect for that because she is not afraid to talk.
Yeah.
Like, talk back, say her opinion, and that can sometimes come across as a villain. I don't see Candy as a villain. I see her more of, like, just brutally honest.
Yeah, which I think I'm kind of like that.
Yeah. And can come across as a villain.
Yeah.
So she is the first drag queen to be on House of Villains. So she like broke a record.
The first what? Drag queen?
Drag queen.
To be on House of Villains.
House of
Oh,
Villains.
okay. I got that mixed up with Traitors.
No, yeah, she wasn't on Traitors.
Yeah.
But I would love to be on Traitors.
I would love
that would
to
be
see
so
Traitors. That would be fierce.
So fierce. And then speaking of villains, on the new season of Drag Race UK, and by the way, if you're watching this, then you're probably watching our UK review, or if you're listening to this, check out our UK Drag Race review. One of the contestants on this season her name is Chanel, and girl, she's
giving villain energy.
She's giving great villain energy. So it's like good TV. It's like old school drag race all over again.
We love it.
We love it. It's great TV. So don't go send her hate, but it's great TV. But what I wanted to know is if you could pick your top 3 drag race villains, who would they be? I
know one of them, and this person has...
And this is not us saying that they're mean or bad or anything. It's just based off of watching them on the TV.
It's almost like based off their acting chops, because at the end of the day, it is a reality show. They're going off of some of it's real.
Yeah.
But this person has changed, I guess, based off of what they were portrayed as.
Yeah.
But I thought Raja O'Hara, when she was
Oh, that's a good one.
the first time that she was on Drag Race, she was a villain.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she like went off this fucking nap, went off on everybody and was like, why the fuck are we doing this? Like, I can't remember exactly what she had said exactly, but it was towards Plastique. And I just remember her being like, damn, she's really popping off in this moment.
Yeah.
And she had a lot of things to say that season.
Yeah.
Which I love it.
Yeah.
I love an honest bitch.
Same.
And I love Raja. So Raja, if you're listening, I just want to let you know I love you because I respect you. You know how to sew. She's a good performer. And she's a tell it how it is kind of gal. And I love that.
I did a cruise with her. We were booked, her and I, and then Derek Berry were booked on a nursing cruise. Like it was a cruise just for nurses.
Yeah.
And had such a great time. So laid back.
Yeah. She's cool as fuck. I love her. What's yours?
My first one is the winner of Drag Race Season 2, which was Tyra Sanchez. Girl, she was a villain the entire season, and she won.
Yeah.
And at the time, that was so unheard of for a TV show to crown or let a villain win like that.
Yeah.
And
I think it really showcased like the drag banter.
Yeah.
Like, whole old school drag.
Yeah.
All these like new queens that are getting out on Drag Race and stuff are like, you say one thing and they're like, you hurt my feelings, you're a bully. But like, girl, you ain't grown up with real drag queens.
Oh, girl.
Because...
And that her season was so good, and she's fierce too.
Yeah.
So like, it was just great. Great TV. Great TV.
She was fierce.
Yeah.
My second would be Raven from season 2, I think it was.
Raven is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could say that. I could see that.
I remember her being so fucking mean to Tatiana.
Yeah.
But Tatiana took it good.
Yeah.
She knew how to play back and stuff. But Raven was also just super outspoken. So I guess like looking at someone like her, she's very blunt and tell it how it is kind of gal. Like people don't like the tell it how it is kind of people.
Yeah.
They want to say that they don't like them, but they like them.
Yeah.
Because we just tell it how it is.
Well, and that's why Raven and Tyra, because they were from the same season, butted heads.
Because they were just the same.
Girl. And they were both in the top. So, like, the tops were villains.
I know.
Fierce.
It was fierce.
My second one is one of my friends. I know them outside of the show. So, like, to me, they're not a villain. But, like, on the show, they were a villain.
Yeah.
From their original season, which was Roxy Andrews.
Roxy Andrews.
She was such a villain to Jinx. It was like she was out to get that bitch.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. It was crazy in the moment.
She does technically, have a lot to say, but like she's good at what she does.
Yeah.
And you can't come for that.
You
bitch.
can't.
You can't
come for the doll.
I love it.
Who's your third one?
My third one is Fifi O'Hara.
Oh my God, that was my third one.
Yeah,
I worked with her, and she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I know. Like I've talked to Fifi and stuff. Like we've kind of vibed online together because we both do cosplay.
Yeah,
and
games.
Yeah, I respect her a lot. Like she's so talented.
Very.
But what you get on the show is what you get. It's kind of like.
And she was a villain both her seasons.
Yeah, she did not play rough or play fair.
Yeah,
she was a mean bitch.
It was interesting for sure.
I loved it though.
I want to know from all of you listening to this podcast, if you're listening, go to the YouTube channel. If you're here at the YouTube channel, leave a comment below on who your favorite villain of Drag Race is. I would love to know.
That'd be good. I want to see what everybody.
Yeah, I want to know what everybody has to say. So we were talking earlier, the I Call Shade moment of the week. You have two, so tell me one of them, and I'll tell you mine, and then you tell the other one.
So my I call Shade moment is kind of like a love, hate, sad thing. So my cat has had health issues for the longest time, and so I had to I don't want to say get rid of her because that's a horrible way to say a thing about an animal. So I found her a home, and
you to say it in a better term because she's not good with her words.
Yeah,
you rehomed her with somebody that has more time to be able
give her love,
to devote to her special needs. Because she was a special needs cat.
I tend to forget the way that I say things could come off a specific way.
Yeah, and
I found a home for my cat, and it's this little boy and his father, and
they were really wanting like a cat, and
Princess needed that attention.
Yeah,
she's an only cat or only Yeah. Anyway, she peed all over the furniture.
All of it. Girl, that's
All
why
over.
she got rid of all of her furniture.
Yeah.
Every bit of it.
So like, if you look behind this curtain, bitch, it's like
Nothing, honey.
nothing, girl.
Nothing, honey. Just like the Wizard of Oz, sweetie. There's nothing behind the curtain, honey.
Bitch, I
Um,
live. So, anyways, I call Shade because I had to get rid of all my furniture and my cat because, girl, it was so sad.
she was shady.
She was shady, but I also feel bad.
But you shouldn't feel bad because she went to a good home.
Yeah, that's when you had told me that, and when I dropped her off, the little boy was like super hyper, and like
Yeah.
you could tell he just really needed somebody like that. So I felt like I did something good.
Yeah.
My second one, because we're gonna just do it all, is my cat Barbie yesterday hid from me in the house because we don't have any furniture right now, which you would think it'd be easy to find him, but he hid for the longest time, and I searched for him for 2 or 3 hours. Went outside of the neighborhood, went inside the garage, everywhere.
Interviewed her neighbors.
Girl, we went around the neighborhood, and I was like, with my flashlight calling, I was like, Barbie, Barbie.
And this wouldn't be the first time that this little cat had ran away.
Yeah, so I immediately expected, I was like, he got out because we had just got a couch for the game room. And you know, when you bring the couch in, you have to leave the door open for a second. So I thought he had got out.
Yeah.
And it scared me because when we were walking to the neighborhood, one of the neighbors came up to us and was like, "Do you know where the cat? Are you finding a cat or did you lose a dog?" I said, "We lost our cat." Started talking. He's like, "Oh, I have dogs that tend to get out too, and I love dogs and cats." And it scared me because I was like, "Oh my god! Like, what if Barbie got chewed up by a dog?" And then he was like, "Oh, well, you know, you must be the neighbors that have the Tesla." And I was like, "Bitch, we ain't got no Tesla. I ain't even got a couch, okay? Don't get it twisted." But so he was like, "Oh, well, you guys are cool. You know, do you smoke?" And I was like, "I don't smoke what Ethan smokes." And so we wound up getting his phone number and the whole like spiel of this, and now we have a weed dealer.
Weed dealer.
So I mean, we ended up finding Barbie. He was inside our garage, like laid up inside one of my piles of drag, and he comes out of nowhere, just
like, what are you doing? What have you been doing,
bitch? And I didn't want to spank him because I was like, he's gonna hide from me for more,
yeah,
more often.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm so glad I found Joe. I thought it was my karma for getting rid of Princess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes things happen.
Yeah. What's yours?
My I call shade moment of the week, and babe, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I'm spilling the tea. So I am the cook in our relationship.
Like, you're the controlling bitch, you are.
And just my opinion, Joey would probably differ his opinion and say that he can cook, but I don't think he can cook, girl.
Girl, I can cook, and she's like, you can't cook.
You can't. But
see, I'm telling you.
So I have a grill. It's a really nice grill. And I've been grilling a lot lately. And
it's fun, right?
Well, we've been having these hurricanes, and I'm like, my power keeps going out. So I'm like, I've got to cook anyway. Might as well use the grill because it's all gas.
Yeah.
And so I made us steaks, filet mignon.
Ooh, on the grill, bitch?
On the grill.
So good.
And when we were talking, I thought I heard him say he liked his steaks medium rare. And so I made the steaks medium rare.
It takes like 8 minutes to cook.
Girl, I make all the meal. It looks delicious. It smells delicious. I'd made grilled corn. I made broccolini on the grill. All the stuff.
Not broccolini.
Oh, love broccolini.
Never had it.
It's like it's like a fancy broccoli. It kind of tastes like asparagus, like a cross between asparagus and broccoli. It's basically baby broccoli.
Brockaragus.
Brockaragus. Sounds like a drag name. So I'm like eating mine. I'm like, this is delicious. And I look over at him and he's just like, like, give me the stank face. I was like, what's wrong with you? He's like, you made this. This is not rare. I was like, what do you mean rare?
So he wanted like straight cut off the.
He wanted it like almost still really, really pink on the inside, like red.
Twitching.
And I'm like, no, this is like medium rare.
I think that's still good.
Or maybe even it may have been medium, but it was delicious and it was like tender still. It was so good. Complained. I was like, I'm never grilling for you again.
Girl, I couldn't imagine eating
So
Trinity.
I call shade.
Ooh, rare steak.
If you want a steak made it your way, then you make it yourself, sweetie.
That's how I am.
Girl.
Mhm.
I'm like, bitch, I ain't doing that no more.
Nope.
So we have a couple more topics to get through, and then we are gonna go on our merry way. This topic is crazy deaths. And the first one is in 1957, there was a school that was doing this Halloween themed haunted house. They went and found this like dilapidated house, and they like decorated it for Halloween for their students, and they brought their students there, and the principal was supposed to be part of like one of the gimmicks of the thing.
Yeah.
Well, ended up the principal, so one of the teachers brings the kids in, and the principal is like acting like they're getting hung and like acting whoa and everything, and all the kids are like, oh my god, this is crazy, whatever, and they do the haunted house, whatever. The kids are all being shuffled through. The teacher comes back in to check everything, finds out the principal literally hung themselves on this gimmick.
Do you think he hung himself on purpose?
No.
Oh.
It was they slipped or something, and then they like the noose or whatever tightened, and they couldn't get and so the kids actually were watching the principal die at that moment.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It's just odd to me.
Yeah. And yeah, the principal just went up and died, honey.
No man.
This is one I think a lot of people probably saw recently on social media. An elderly lady was allegedly part of a poaching, animal smuggling gang in India. Her job was distracting mother elephants while the rest of them kidnapped the baby elephant.
Aww.
One mama elephant tracked the old lady down 140 kilometers from their preserve, which is like a long way away.
So they literally left and went and found her.
Yeah.
Gag.
The elephant came and found the old lady and trampled her to death. Then returned during her funeral and trampled her corpse again.
Gag.
Girl,
that just goes to show elephants have real emotions.
Like they're really smart, and
they're
girl, they can smell. Obviously, they can sense things. They tracked her down, honey.
That's fierce, though.
Trampled her to death.
You know what? Fuck the poachers.
Girl, hello. Absolutely, I would have done it too.
I would have done it down twice, maybe 3 times.
Here's another one. In 1923, Frank Hayes, a jockey from Ireland, died from a heart attack in the middle of a race, like a horse race.
I think you've told me about this.
The horse, Sweet Kiss, that's the horse's name, ended up finishing first place with the man's body still on top of it.
You told me about this, so I heard about it. Was it in Kentucky?
The horse was a 20-1 outsider, very unlikely to win, and Hayes had never won a race prior to the event.
Gag.
The jockey was from Ireland, but the race that he died in took place in New York City.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It's just crazy. Like that they never won a race and then they won because of that.
Yeah. So here's some statistics of history's most deadly events. Let's see. World War I deaths from 1914 to 1918 was 9.2 million.
Gag.
World War II deaths from 1937 to 1945 were 15.9 million deaths.
Damn.
The AIDS pandemic through the 2000s is when they like this graph was stopped, was 21.8 million deaths worldwide.
That's so sad.
The Black Death and the Plague from 1348 to 1350, and mind you, this is way less people on Earth.
Yeah.
Way less people on Earth. Was 20 to 25 million deaths.
I mean, I could say though
We're all
that's
gagged.
back in the day they didn't have like what we.
I
have
need
now.
to find out what the percentage of the world's population was at that time.
Yeah.
I mean that's crazy.
Ooh.
The number one most deadly event was influenza pandemic in 1918 to 1919. So 1 year.
That sounds like COVID.
1 year killed 20 to 40 million people.
What was this? What was it?
The flu.
The flu.
Influenza. Yeah, the pandemic. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's podcast. It was a little different than we normally do, but we had fun.
Yeah.
And I hope you got some information that you didn't know about us. But until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.